Good evening and welcome to the United Stand. It is our big Memphis Depay debate. It is a Scribe Corbridge. I do want you to Skype in, but first of all, let me fly into a few points. £16 million to Lyon, Olympic Lyon. He's also, there's a buyback clause, which basically means he can come back to Manchester United. And also, there is a sell-on clause, which if he goes for a little bit more, we'll get £21 million. So it's a deal that essentially favours the selling club, and that is Manchester United. I've heard some people coming out saying, why are you praising Jose Mourinho instead of Ed Woodward, because he's the man who sorts these deals out. Where have you been for the last 3 years? Ed Woodward sold Raphael, Nani and Robin Van Persie for less than we've just sold Memphis Depay, who for me is a flop at Manchester United. What's happened is Jose Mourinho is an absolute master in the transfer market, and he's teaching Woodward the ways of the force. Mourinho says how much they go for. Mourinho says how much he's willing to play for players. Absolutely superb deal from him. I do want to hear from Manchester United fans who are upset by this Memphis deal going there. That's the whole point of this debate tonight. Are you happy? Is he flop or is he misunderstood? For me, you can lead a horse to water, but he's got to drink it. And we gave him a massive opportunity at Manchester United, giving him the number 7 shirt. Attitude, application, not good enough. A lot of people say he wasn't given enough games this season by Mourinho. Understand what football's about. You don't just get given games. You don't just give him games. You train with 30-odd players. And if you don't stand out as the best 15, you don't get in the squad. So that's where it's gone. And I think it's the right deal. In fact, I'm going to say this because it's spinning my head, and you know what? I think we'd be absolute bonkers to sign him back. I really do. So what if he goes to Lyon and plays really, really well? If you know anything about Memphis, and I was really excited when he signed, he was a revelation at PSV. He was like the Ronaldo of the Dutch league. He, won him the title, scoring free kicks, absolutely one-man team at times. So even if he goes to Lyon and do that, again, it's another weak league. What makes you think he can come back to the Premier League and do it again? So for me, I think history, you move on, and we take a look at other options. But I think it's a fantastic deal by Manchester United, and £38 million we've brought in the last week or so, and we've not bought anybody yet. Is that a hint that we will be? Scribe Corbridge is the name. Skype is open. I've got a couple of calls lined up, but I would really, really like somebody to come on and give us their thoughts on Memphis. And I want somebody who's a bit disappointed by it, to be honest. I want to get that side of things, because I think it's a good move for Manchester United. It's the right move for him. But I don't know what's going on with Skype tonight, but we are limited in the amount of calls that we've got coming on. Come on. Where are you all? Come on. It is live. We should be live. I am live, so get commenting there. Good riddance to Memphis. Never had the correct attitude to succeed. We've got somebody Skyping in. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi, you're live on the United Stand. How can I help?
You're right.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts on Memphis, mate.
Really sad about Memphis, Memphis coming for the fee that he was it about 20 million, I think?
I always get stuck on this. I think, should we just say 25? I think 25 is about right.
Yeah. But, Memphis, what I saw of him in the Dutch league, the free kicks and the skills, I thought we were having something really good, really good signing. I was so hyped for him. But unfortunately, it hasn't turned out. You're right, he is a flop. He only turned it on against the small teams in the Champions League qualifier against Bruges, wasn't it? So
yeah, Midtjylland, wasn't it? It was the Danish. He did play well against Bruges as well. You're right at the start.
Yeah, he almost scored a hat trick. I think he scored 2 goals. He flicked. Who was it? He flicked someone, and then he scored a really good goal in the first half. And then he did that filthy skill against Midtjylland. But he hasn't really turned it on. There's only 2 games he's had.
Do you think it's right that we've let him go? Because I know there are some United fans who just feel he never really got a run in the team under Mourinho. I mean, I've said what I think about that, but I do appreciate. I mean, even today there was a lot of people getting quite angry about it, saying he's not been given an opportunity by Mourinho. It's a big mistake to let him go.
I think it is a good way, but it's bad at the same time because in my opinion, I thought he should have got a chance, but it's a good thing to do, to let him off because. Again, we're getting more players to give an opportunity. And also, we've got a buyback clause on him. So if he does well, it's not going to end up like Pogba, where we spend about 89 million on him. So, if he does well, he goes off to Lyon. Or if he doesn't do well, good riddance to him.
I've got a few questions to ask people who phone in about Memphis tonight, but the first one I'm going to throw to you is, if he does really well in Lyon, I was saying there's not a hell of a lot of difference between the French league and the Dutch league. He, as you were saying there, he was fantastic at PSV. So if he does really well at Lyon, why would Manchester United, would you want us to sign him back? And why would that not be the same risk that we've just taken from PSV?
I mean, to be fair, comparing the Premier League and the French league and the Dutch league, it's a completely different league. So if he does well there, I wouldn't be surprised. But if he comes back to the Premier League with the price and the expectation like he did when he came from PSV, he might not do well because, the physicality of the Premier League, the speed of the Premier League, how tough it is. Because, to be fair, the French league has only got like two teams, PSV or PSG and Lyon. So it's not really much neck and neck with the teams. Man United, you got Liverpool, you got Arsenal, you got Spurs, you got all those teams in the Premier League. So I think it's less competitive for him, and it'll be easier for him because he's got more big players, not bigger players than us, but he's got big players around him, Lacazette, Fekir, all the players that can help him develop in that. So hopefully he does well at Lyon, but I don't think if he does come back to the Premier League, it's still going to be tough for him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, great first call to call in. I'm glad that you went with the angle that you did. First time on the show?
Yeah, first time.
Very, very good debut, mate, if I do say myself. Where are you calling from?
Bedford.
Well, thanks for calling in, and please do call in again. Very, very good call.
All right, thanks.
Cheers, pal. Thank you. Tell, I know you're going to call in. Do. I'd not forgotten you. I was going to get you on a little bit later to talk about what we were going to talk about, but actually, I think we might park that. So if you want to come on and give your Memphis opinion, I don't know what your Memphis opinion is, so that'd be quite interesting. Nissan Monaco says, Uru, yeah, the crap. Great call to start off with. Marks' Riley Gamer TV was very, very good. And Nice are top at the moment. It's a good deal. The French league's not good. I'm not saying this because Memphis has gone there. That's nothing to do with it. It's not good. You can almost dismiss what Zlatan did in the French league, apart from what he did in the Champions League, because it's not a good league. But let me just... I'd arranged for Tel to come on, so let me just get him on. Hi, Tel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, buddy. How are you? You all right?
I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. I'm very happy about the good transfer dealings United are doing. It might be going out the door, but we're actually getting a bit of money in for players, which is a touch, really.
Yeah, I do not know where you stand on Memphis. I wanted to talk about Herrera, but I think we'll probably, hopefully, get you back next week to come and do that, because obviously it's Memphis breaking news. I know we differ on Rooney. Do we differ on Memphis? What are your thoughts on this?
I'm disappointed that it didn't turn out, and all the promise and the expectation and excitement, it didn't pay off. I remember doing a Memphis Depay as a fraud video, telling everyone to calm down and give him time. He never delivered. It's simple and straightforward as that. And I think that some people will come out with a little bit of nonsense that he wasn't given any game time, but the man's got to turn it on the training pitch. There's a reason that, when we weren't scoring goals, when we weren't being that creative, even under Jose Mourinho, this lad wasn't picked. He was left out of the entire squad for the FA Cup final. It speaks volumes. And I don't subscribe to the notion that he cared more about Instagram selfies and sponsorship deals than being a football player. You don't get to where he's got to without working hard. He's in great physical condition. I just think he found the league too hard, and I don't think he was prepared to for blood, sweat and tears, if that makes sense. So he worked hard, but I don't think he has the same determination. If he had Jesse Lingard's attitude and application combined with his skill, we'd probably have a player at the same level as Martial.
Yeah, or as much as I get on his back, Fellaini, he's got a great attitude as well. Some people just don't have it, and I think you make a good point there that he is a flop as far as I'm concerned, but that isn't being horrible on him. The Dutch league, the one thing I don't understand is the free kicks. I never understood why he couldn't replicate the free kicks, because that's just a dead ball skill. But just because you're good in the Dutch league doesn't mean you're going to be good in the Premier League. The Premier League's got a graveyard of players who've been good abroad and come over here and not. Look at Sebastian Veron, absolute brilliant midfielder, just couldn't do it in the Premier League. So he shouldn't feel ashamed about that. But I would agree with you. I think Giggs was the one who let us know about attitude. And I know you've played football, Tel, as have I, and I don't know whether some people grasp that you don't get given an opportunity in a team to prove yourself. You've got to prove yourself on the training pitch.
Well, it's the point I keep making to people about everyone talks about Tuanzebe and Fosu Mensah getting more game time. And I agree, I want to see our youth players on the pitch, but we don't know what they're doing in training. And you're absolutely right. No, I played football, but I used to fight for Great Britain and when I was younger. And it wasn't just about turning up to a tournament and winning. It was about the daily grind, the 5-6 hours a day and dedicating your life to football. And I think that if you look at the most famous player in the world right now, Cristiano Ronaldo, as much as he loves the attention, the limelight, the Hollywood lifestyle, that boy worked harder than anybody else in the Manchester United squad. And if you go back, there's a great documentary on MUTV, and it talks about the class of '92. And there's a young lad whose name now eludes me, but he was from London, and they brought him up to the club. He was regarded as the most talented 14 to 16-year-old in English football. But he was doing an interview, and he said, when training finished, me and all the boys went down to the local shopping mall and tried to pull girls. Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Gary Neville, Nicky Butt stayed behind and did a couple of hours extra training per day. He's now laying bricks. And that's the thing for me. And I just don't know if Memphis had that within him in terms of putting in that extra mile, proving to the bosses, both Van Gaal, who is obviously now retired, and Jose Mourinho, to say, look, please give me an opportunity. I'm worth it. I just don't think he did that.
No, and also, I think Manchester United... I always think there's two sides to a story, and you've got to be very fair to it. And I think I'm happy this deal's done, and now it's done, I can sort of be a bit forgiving. And I think ability-wise, he just wasn't there. I think attitude-wise, definitely. But there's two things that come to mind, really. One, I think he's got to look at himself. In the summary, he said, under Van Gaal, I wasn't allowed to express myself. You're going to see a different Memphis this year. And we all got excited about that because I think we'd all agree that the football under Van Gaal was very restrictive for somebody who's creative. And we've seen Mata blossom away from Van Gaal and others, Herrera as well. But he's not done that. And when you look at the first 4 months of Manchester United, well, probably 3 months when Mkhitaryan actually started playing, our wide men weren't doing well. Martial wasn't doing well. Mkhitaryan wasn't in the team. Lingard was Lingard, and Rashford's not really a winger. So the opportunity for Memphis that maybe in the summer I thought he's going to struggle. We've bought Mkhitaryan, you've got Martial, he's going to really struggle. Those players weren't performing, so he had that opportunity, and still, like you said, he couldn't get in the team. But on United's point of view, and I want to ask you this, what you think Memphis's long-term legacy at Manchester United would be, comparing him to people like Di Maria, who were also custodials of this number 7 shirt. I think Manchester United's mistake, before I come to that, is they've got to learn about this number 7 shirt. Us as fans love it. It's iconic. It's the most iconic shirt probably in our footballing lives because we support Manchester United. To hand it to somebody like Memphiss, who is from the Dutch league, he was a decent calibre, but this is the Holy Grail, and I think that was too much too soon, and they need to readdress that. But on that point, and also, what do you think his legacy is in relation to, you could argue someone like Di Maria did more in a Manchester United shirt.
Yeah, he's sort of somewhere in between. Sort of, you've got Obertan and Bebe down on one end, and then you've got like Ronaldo on the other. Memphis for me is, if Obertan's a 1 and Ronaldo's a 10, Memphis is about a 3 for me. He had some good moments. He scored some goals, albeit against lesser teams. So he had a few good moments in the shirt, but just not enough really. And I think that people talk about this thing. I think it's a little bit of a myth, the whole Manchester United quality, because if a lot of people base it on purely fighting hard for the shirt, that means Fellaini's United quality. If it's only based on that, it's a combination of the two. But I like to see a United player try. It's why we, for a long time, love Rooney. It's why we fell in love with Carlos Tevez. It's what we love about Rashford. Even though he's a youth player, he fights and he puts grit in. It's why Herrera is so popular. For a limited player, he's so popular because he fights so hard on the football pitch. And I think that that's not what Memphis had. So for me, he's just a flop. And he doesn't even reach someone like Nani's level of floppage. He's well below that.
No, I would agree with that. And just something popped into my head there. I remember him coming on for the last 5 minutes against Spurs last season. And he got into a bit of a fisticuffs with Kyle Walker in the corner. And I thought, maybe that's, the crowd reacted to it. Maybe in his brain something might switch there. And you'll think, what, I can get the crowd on my side if I just put a bit of effort in. But I don't know. And just very quickly, Tal, I know we've gone slightly over what I like to because I want to get some more people on, but I do want to ask this question as well. I asked it the previous caller, and I'll ask everybody this tonight. He's at Lyon. I don't think there's much of a difference between the French and the Dutch league. He goes to Lyon. He plays brilliant. He's scoring the free kicks. He's winning Lyon the league. Manchester United got a buy-back clause in him. We buy him back. Would you buy him back? And if you did buy him back, I would say, well, what's the difference between what he did at PSV? Surely it's the same risk. Can he do it in the Premier League?
I would only look at it if I had any say so at all, if those performances were consistent in the league, but he was also doing it in Champions League games against the best teams, and if he does it internationally remember he plays for the Netherlands, right? And they're struggling more than England at the moment. If he turns it on on those stages, and on those, I would consider buying him back. We don't want to do what we did with Pogba and have to end up paying £90 million to bring him to the club if he does go on to be an absolute superstar. But personally, I think we've seen the last of him.
Yeah, well, I would hope so, and I'm not being blunt about that. I really would. Thanks for calling in, Tal. It wasn't what we were going to talk about. I'm hoping you'll come back on Monday and we can talk about what we know we want to talk about.
Yes, we will have a little debate about Ander Herrera. I'm quite looking forward to it. Cheers for having me on. Good luck with the rest of the show, mate. Take care.
All right, I'll speak to you on Monday, pal. Cheers, thanks for coming on.
Bye-bye.
We've got a really good thing we wanted to talk about, which we will do on Monday. But let's take some of your calls and let's have a look at some of your comments. If anyone wants to come on and defend Memphiss, or if anyone wants to come on and have a bloody rant about Memphiss and say things like I've said about him, I don't feel like it tonight. I feel a bit mellow, but I have had a go at him. I've said, you've wiped your arse with our most iconic shirts. You lazy, bad attitude, overpaid, waste of space. I've said those things in the past. I've got angry with him because I think he could have been so much more, and that is frustrating. Ash the Train says, I will go to sleep tonight knowing that Griezmann will be our new number 7. It is quite a nice feeling to know that the number 7 is free. It matters to me. Iron says, no, Nani was anything but a flop. Yeah, I did pick up on that. I don't think Nani was a flop. I think he did pretty well in fits and spurts, but at times he was pretty good in a Manchester United shirt. Where would I put Memphiss? It's a good one. I would probably put him down at the level of Obertan. You could argue someone like Obertan did more in a Manchester United shirt than Memphiss. It's slim pickings. It is slim pickings. Would you train telepathic entity? Would you trade Ashley Young for a tin of baked beans? I'd like to see Ashley Young go next, to be honest. I don't see what he offers. Sporting Filming Stand does want to phone in, and I would quite like to get him on. Let's see. Owen, can you hear me? No, I just killed his call just as I'd phoned him there. SFS is the person I'm meant to be getting on, but I can't see his name, so Matthew Lemons will do. Matthew, can you hear me? Matthew? Hello, Matthew. You're live on the United Stand. We're talking Memphis Depay. What was it you wanted to stay? Which side of the fence do you sit on? Good or flop?
I personally think he was, hit and miss. I feel that selling him was wrong, because I feel he could have actually done something under, I don't know what the word is, but like more care, and like some players
around the shoulder sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, some players get the knack and can do it straight away, like Zlatan, because he's got a big charisma, and yeah, but some players, as you were
there actually, because I forget things if someone talks for too long, and I just want to sort of back you up there a little bit, because what somebody said to me today, and it wasn't to do with Memphiss, but it was to do with Luke Shaw, and I think it sort of fits in with what you're saying there. Luke Shaw, after the Watford game, and I know football like a lot of people do, and I know tactics and stuff like that, and Luke Shaw against Watford wasn't blatantly bad. Positionally he might have not been great, but he wasn't blatantly bad, and Mourinho openly and publicly berated him. Against Everton, Mourinho brought Fellaini on when we had 3 points, and Fellaini was an absolute clown and gave a penalty away. There was nothing but support for him. So that shows you the different sides of management. One player gets publicly berated, but another one gets protected and the arm around the shoulder. And I can sort of see where you're coming from there with Memphiss, that, maybe that arm around the shoulder might have helped him.
Yeah, I think when Mourinho came to the club, when he said the statement about that he was going to make Fellaini loved by all the fans and stuff, I feel like he set out to do that rather than other people. So at the start he may have had a certain people he didn't want at all. So obviously that's Memphis, Schweinsteiger. But I don't know, it's kind of confusing, because Schweinsteiger actually came back and actually worked to do it, but Memphiss didn't. So that could throw it away a bit, and it might actually not be to do with him getting like the arm round the shoulder, and it might actually just be him. And yeah, it's kind of a hard situation to get your head around, really.
So ultimately, I mean, I'm glad you've called in because you're disappointed about it. I mean, what if we'd not sold him? What do you think? How are you thinking that we shouldn't have sold him? Because I'm not judging you or anything like that. It's your opinion, and that's what matters on this show. But for me, I think if he's not doing it in training, then it's right that he should go. But on the same side, what I would say again in defence of those who back Memphis is, there has been the opportunities to play in. There has been opportunities to play in. We've played in the League Cup, but we picked a strong team. We were in the FA Cup at home the other week against somebody we should be able to beat. What do you think it is? I'm phrasing it in a long-winded way. I'm trying to say, what do you think it is? Do you think it is what you were just saying there, that he just never really fancied Memphis? Or do you think it's just he's assessed him over 6 months and decided, no, you've not got the right tools for what I need at United?
It's kind of hard to answer.
It is, and I'm asking you to jump into a guessing pond, I suppose, because we don't necessarily know. But I'm trying to grasp what I mean. I presume you would have liked to have seen him playing in some of those league games in the last few months to be given that opportunity. But I don't really understand why Mourinho hasn't done that unless he'd already made his mind up a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I feel that he should have played a few games, see how he sets in with the team and how he actually plays, and see if he actually fits with Mourinho's style. And I think that's what like the EFL Cup would have like given to him. But if he's got like his heart's not in it and he doesn't fully feel that he has the confidence to play like the Man United style of play, and then there's like Martial and Mkhitaryan that do, I feel it's going to be even harder to him because they're trying to like prove their point that they are good as well, and they should be in his team. And seeing as though we have about 4 wingers that could play in both those positions, I as much as like to see him play for United, it just didn't look likely.
Yeah, I mean, I detect, that, and I think it's a fair call. I think people are just a little bit downhearted by it, but, it's evolution, as I said last night, and I'm sure we'll move on. Where are you calling from, Matthew?
Barnsley.
Thanks for calling. Another very good call. And first time on the show?
Yeah.
Please call again. Very, very good. Thanks for calling, Matthew.
Thanks, see you later.
Cheers, pal. Very good calls tonight. Keep calling in. I am going to be talking... it's another big topic, and please do phone in and give us your thoughts on Memphis. I am going to be talking about... I don't know what Mad Marcus is talking about. I don't know whether he's talking to a virgin or something, because he's saying worst thing to do is be nervous. Just go for it. I think he's doing some. I think he's like moonlighting on our live comments, doing Lonely Heart stuff or something like that, giving out advice. I don't know what's going on there. Guys, you should all follow MUFC in news on Twitter. He's got United transfer business 100% correct. No, he hasn't. 1, Snoops, the United stand's blocked by him because we outed him before. And 2, I went on another account and looked at his Twitter account today, and just go back over the last 5 months, and it's full of crap. He basically covers every angle, like most people do on Twitter. We have to trust the manager's judgment, says Red in Bed. I'm not too keen on Luke Shaw. I feel like he's highly overrated. We need to bring back Evra, says Alec. Chris the Mank Taylor says Memphis walked around town with a huge chip on his shoulder. His attitude stank. Well, maybe that is fair enough. I'm looking for... Here he is. He's changed his name anyway. So finally, we can get him on. Can you hear me, Ryan?
Yes.
How you doing, pal?
Good. You?
Yeah, very good. Go for it. Like Mark has said, don't be nervous. What did you want to say? I presume you're going to tell me about Memphis. Which side of the fence do you sit on?
Yeah. I'm glad he gone, because I feel that he was just like you said, Deadwood. He was just a bit in, and he's better. It's gone now because he had potential, but never really achieved it. So I'm glad he's gone.
And I'm going to give you the big question here. Who would you like to see as Manchester
Sounds
United?
like Green in the summer. He's the number 7.
Griezmann would be your number
Hopefully,
7.
there's more of a chance of him coming, and then I think he'll be able to play in the position that was. He can play with having midfield 3 with Herrera, Pogba, and Griezmann.
So you'd have Herrera as the sort of the anchor man, I presume, or Pogba.
Yeah, I think he can do that role well.
So would you keep the number 7 shirt back till the summer, or would you give it to somebody else in the interim? I mean, I don't know how that works really, but somebody said it today. I don't think you really can reassign during the season anyway. I think it will be kept in the summer for Griezmann.
I
don't know, it's breaking up, that is. Let me try if I can get it back. I've just shut Skype down for a minute to come back because I know this happened last time before. Duke Dolman's calling again. Good. I do want to ask. I've just clicked on somebody there. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. You're live on the United Stand. I'm just trying to see who I've clicked on there. Is it Duke Dolman?
That's right, Mark. How's it going?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Just here to lament with the rest of the fans about the rise and fall of Memphis Depay.
Go on, the floor's yours. Give us your thoughts.
Well, it's one of these situations, you know, whenever this happens to a player, you can't help but try and take stock of their career. And for Memphis, it's been over pretty abruptly. You know, we have to decide. Half of the fans think he was marginalised. Half of the fans think he's just a lazy millennial. But I think what it comes down to is the devil was in the details. What did he have? 40, 50 appearances? 6 or 7 goals, perhaps? I think at the end of the day, Martial was better in his position. Rashford was faster and more clinical. And Lingard, even though his decision-making is still improving, he definitely worked harder. So, I mean, my best memories of Memphis in all this time was his second leg performance against Midgetland. And
the Danish pub
him
team.
getting in the exactly, and getting in the face of Kyle Walker. So yeah. I do think when he's travelling to France, looking at the FA Cup winners' medal, which he didn't really earn, he will feel a bit like he let himself down. You know.
I hope so. I mean, it just dropped into my head there that, you know, maybe we are giving him. I did say it on the live reaction. Maybe we're giving him too much credit. Maybe he is the epitome of the modern day footballer who actually, I'm just here to play football and earn money. I'm not really that fussed. I mean, some of the criticism levelled at him is he never really, you know, De Gea, Mata, Herrera, as foreign players, understand Manchester United and understand that they are in the shadow of this great entity. I'm not sure that Memphis did, and maybe he'll walk away from it thinking I've just earned an absolute packet doing absolutely nothing.
Well, yeah, there's the Rolls Royce and the custom seat covers and all that, but if I'm with you on this, but if we can play devil's advocate for a minute and try and look at it from the point of view of those who are sorry to see him go, I think if you take a look at Memphis and get behind all the tweets and posing, there is a bit of a sad story there as well. I mean, he lost his father when he was 4. I think his dad walked out on him. And then, if I remember correctly, his grandfather died when he was a teenager. So this is a guy who, although he has had great opportunities, he has definitely been missing those strong male role models in his life. And I think he sort of started to come alive a bit when Zlatan joined the club. You could see a lot of the photographs being released. He was all smiles and looked happy. But, I mean, in these sort of situations, it's easy. You can look at a picture and make a snap judgment. But I always like to rely on the comments made by key figures in the game around Memphis. Ronald Koeman said he was a great talent. Now, that sounds like someone being positive. But in reality, I think Koeman was stepping around the issue, which is that you can have talent and have skill, but you have to apply yourself. And when you get benched for months at a time by a player like Jesse Lingard, born a few miles from the ground, I think that speaks volumes for how much he actually applied himself.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I was on about this before as well. I'll have to dig the video out and go back. I remember when he signed, I'm not going to be hypocritical, I was very excited. It was in fairly early days of the United Stand, and me and Alex reacted to it live, and we were very, very excited about it. And I said the only negative is, as he comes in, is his attitude. We've heard he's got a bit of an attitude, but he's a big fish in a small pond at PSV. He's coming to a massive lake in United, and I'm sure we'll be able to sort that out. And then last season we heard Giggs sort of leaking it out that there was a bad attitude problem there. And let's not forget as well, Jose Mourinho, I think some of these Memphis supporters forget, I empathise with their disappointment. I think that dissipated for me for a long time ago, because I did like him, but I could see where this was going, and I don't really shed any tears about it. But let's not forget what Jose Mourinho said 2 weeks ago, that Memphis had asked to leave 2 months ago. So around the start of November, Memphis asked to leave. And why would a manager come out and say that? Why would he if it wasn't true? So it's not necessarily Manchester United forcing him out the door. Memphis has obviously had an active part in this as well.
Exactly. He's not taking his chances. At the end of the day, I mean, you look at the wearers of the 7 down the years, Captain Marvel, Cantona, Beckham, Ronaldo. These are people that, really lived up to that shirt. With Memphis, it was a case of I think either he believed his own hype, or he had the hype before he had, really put the effort in. And as you know, as United fans, we don't usually tolerate really arrogant players. Cantona is an exception because he's a titan of a player and he had a big impact on that team at that time. But Memphis came in with these presumptions about, himself and how we'd see him as this hero, but he didn't really work for it,
No, I totally agree. Just very quickly, I just want to ask you, who do you think the number 7 should be? The next Manchester United number 7?
Well, it's a tough one. If superstars like Griezmann come in, then he's going to be, dabbing all over it or whatever. But, I mean, you have to say that if Martial sees out this season anything like he played last season, then perhaps it would be an appropriate consolation for him handing over the 9. The flip side of that is if post-Zlatan, Martial himself moves to the 9, then perhaps you could see a Griezmann or someone else pick up the 7. As long as we give it to a player who isn't going to continue this curse, like the Di Marias and all these people, and actually really show that he has a passion for the shirt and the passion for United. As long as it's someone who really deserves it, I don't mind who it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Thanks for calling in. Another very, very good call, and please do call in again.
Thanks for having me on again, Mark. Take it easy.
And you, mate. Cheers. Thank you. We've been blessed tonight. We've had an absolute all-star cast of callers in. They've been brilliant. And that's not to say that anybody else who's called in before hasn't. But maybe it's the subject matter that is really making people come on and speak so freely. But when you get on the United Stand, take the opportunity. Don't be nervous. Hit it, rant, whatever. Just go for it. And as RME Online says, some good talkers on the show today. Sign them up to the United Stand team. Don't worry, we've got our scouts out and about. But I liked that last comment about the number 7. I want to talk about the next number 7 for a while, and if you're going to call in, I will be asking you that. I want to know who you think should be Manchester United's next number 7. It's very easy to go Griezmann, and I'm really glad that last caller spoke about Martial. I think that's a valid reason. We did treat him, but the club is never innocent in anything. The club should never give him Memphis number 7. I don't think they should give Griezmann number 7. As much as I want Griezmann to sign for Manchester United, I think we need to learn the lesson. Di Maria, star player, number 7, failure. Memphiss, star player, number 7, failure. Is it the third time lucky, or it comes in threes? Bad luck comes in threes. So I wouldn't. I would rather go down a different path with the number 7 instead of holding it up as this lure to signing. So sign with us and we'll give you the number 7. Earn the number 7. The number 7 is the most iconic Manchester United shirt. Robson, Beckham, Best, many more. This is the most iconic Manchester United shirt. You've got to earn it. So I like the Martial thing. If he did have a good end to the season, give him the number 7 shirt. Giving it to Griezmann, I'm not too sure. There are slim pickings, I agree. Number 7 normally is a right-sided midfielder or a left-sided midfielder when you think of the Bests and the Beckhams, but Robson wasn't. Maybe it could go to a midfielder. Maybe it could go to Ander Herrera. Maybe it could go to a Paul Pogba. Who knows? Why? Let's redefine it. As I said last night, evolution. Let's do something a little bit different. I'm not really comfortable with it going to new signings, because if it's another flop, and also let's not forget, for me, the number 7 shirt really, really matters. I'm sure it does to you lot as well. Is it a poison chalice? Is it a weight around their neck? Is it too much pressure for a new signing? These might be things to factor in as well. So I think the club's got a responsibility there. I think they need to be a little bit more careful about it. Fellaini for number 7 says Roffical and Juliet. And Miracle says as well. Owen was number 7, says Murnell. Yeah, Valencia didn't do very well with the number 7 either. I called him for a while last time but didn't get on, says Johan. I'm going to take another call. Johan, I've just clicked you, so you're on. What do you want to say, pal?
Is it okay if I just talk about something else than Memphis? Or is it...
All right then, I'll do your deal. Who should be the next number 7 for Manchester United?
Depends on... I think that Mkhitaryan should be the next number 7 because... Yeah. But it really depends on how long he stays at the club. If he's going to leave next summer or 2-3 years, I don't think he's going to be the next number 7.
I've never even thought about Mkhitaryan. I think that's a very good suggestion. He plays in that position. He's been here a year. If he has a good end to the season, he proves himself. He's earned it. I like that suggestion. And for that reason, I reward you with whatever you wanted to ask.
Yes, thank you. I was just touching on the fact that you're talking about Zlatan and Jose not subbing him off when he's having a bad game and stuff. And I'm thinking that he's not that player that you sub off when he's having a bad game. I think Pogba, Fellaini at CDM. You're not subbing him on, and you're gonna sub off Pogba if he's having a bad game. But Zlatan, he's like Messi or Ronaldo. He can have a bad game, but he's gonna score, and he's always gonna have a great game. If you know what I mean, even though he plays really bad.
No, you know what? I love doing these shows because I'll always respect anybody who calls in and I always listen to it, even if I disagree with it. And I was trying to think there because I know I've said it. I'm not going to hide from anything that I've said. I have said at times that Zlatan should be taken off. But I actually do agree with what you're saying there. I think he does fall into that iconic Ronaldo, Messi sort of status whereby keep him on because he might just do something. And he's done it already this season. He has done it this season. He did it on Sunday. But I know where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
and I'll explain it. I'm coming from the fact that I just want to see Marcus Rashford playing as number 9. And if Zlatan's kept on every game, you never see Marcus Rashford. And that is totally where I'm coming from because I think Marcus Rashford is ready, but he's not getting enough minutes up front because, maybe quite rightly, we keep Zlatan on all the time.
Yeah, but I think that you should play Zlatan in the league because we want to aim for top 4. You're not going to be aiming for Europa League and whatnot because Rashford can start there. I think so, but Rashford can start. I'm a huge fan of Rashford as well. You can start Rashford in the Europa League and in the cups and whatnot. But Zlatan in the league, we're going to be aiming for top 4. So Zlatan can score goals when he wants.
Yeah,
so
I'd agree with that.
So I think that's the game every game.
I am going to just pin you down on Memphis though. What's your thoughts on Memphis going? Are you happy or are you sad?
No, I don't really care actually. But
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. You know, he's not done much for 2 years, so why should we care?
Yeah, because he was so hyped up and stuff when he joined, but like the Eredivisie, the league in the Netherlands, or quite a shit league. It's not the Premier League in sort of way because there's only one or two teams there basically. So I think that Fellaini could go there, play up front, and score 20 goals a season or whatnot. So
yeah, I agree. I think this is why I'm not really convinced by the buyback clause because I think even if he goes to Lyon and scores loads of goals, you know, Joe Cole and Joey Barton played well in the French league. I wouldn't want them at Manchester United. So you know, stick that in the pipe and say it. But where are you calling from, Johan? You still there?
I'm calling from Sweden.
Sweden. Okay.
Well, yeah,
thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, and I know you've been trying to get on for a couple of days, and there you are, very, very good, and continuing the good theme of good callers tonight. I really appreciate it. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
2 fantastic points there. One, even I, the great Mark Goldbridge, I'm joking, didn't think of Mkhitaryan as a number 7. I quite like that. I think that's my favourite at the moment. Mkhitaryan number 7. I like that. I really like that. And secondly, you know, bringing the Zlatan thing in, I have said Zlatan should have been taken off in games before, and that's totally because I want Rashford to play up front more. But I totally agree that you keep Zlatan on the pitch, he scores your goals. You know, I've got to agree with that. I've just seen somebody I've never seen before, so I'm just going to click it. Ricky, can you hear me?
Yeah, hearing you, Mark. How you doing?
I'm very good, Ricky. How you doing?
I'm cool.
Good. The floor's yours, mate. What do you want to talk about?
Okay, first thing I would like to say is if Griezmann come, make sure Alex doesn't put his name on his shirt.
He will, because he thinks he bloody looks like him for a start, so he's definitely going to do it. I mean, just for those people who don't know Alex, he comes on the Sunday show, and this is no word of a lie. We've been ripping him out for a long time. The names he's had on the back of his shirt in the last 2 years: Falcao, Di Maria, Memphis, Martial, and there's definitely another one as well. There's another one. And what's happened to all four of them, especially, Martial's even fell off the wagon a bit this year. He is the Jonah. He is the Jonah of Manchester United. So, Alex, Manchester United, anybody who does shirt printing, I think I'm going to send a picture around saying, do not put shirt numbers on the back of this shirt for this man because he is destroying United.
Good one. What I would like to say, first thing on Memphis, I was disappointed that he went because I felt that if he applied himself, he could have done much better, to be honest. So to see him go, I think it was all down to his doing. I don't think Mourinho will let go of a player that is doing well. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Next thing I want to say is I don't know if you want to discuss this, but if Griezmann come, where would he play? This is the thing that I'm kind of.
No, I think it's a good point, and it's your call. So, I mean, I suppose would you? Well, there's three questions. One, who would you have as Manchester United's next number 7?
Number 7. I've got quite a few. Mkhitaryan is a good one. Good shout for you.
Yeah, I like that one.
If Martial applies himself, I think he could be a number 7 as well. Who knows? It could go back down to the Robson era and go to a midfielder, so Pogba could get it.
Yeah. Okay, so, 2, Griezmann. Do you actually want him at Manchester United?
Yes. The only thing I'm skeptical is where would he play? Because the thing is as well, we're looking for a Carrick replacement. And if Fosu Mensah plays in midfield, that means a midfield would have to be dropped out for Griezmann. So Herrera would have to go. Because I don't see Martial being dropped or Mkhitaryan being dropped. I would see like Griezmann playing behind like Ibrahimovic. Yeah. I don't know if you see that point or.
No, I do. I mean, I want us to sign Griezmann. I said this at the start of last summer. The star signing for me would have been Griezmann last year, and I didn't think we were going to get Pogba or Mkhitaryan. So anything can happen, and he was the signing I wanted last year if I could have my dream signing. So I'm not about to say I don't want Griezmann. I think he's a fantastic player. I'd love him at Manchester United. But this is being asked more and more, and I think it will be asked more and more over the next few weeks. Where does he fit into the Manchester United team? And I keep saying it, evolution. I think Mourinho, the way we play now, we might not play this way next year. We might not be far off it, but I think there might be a couple of tweaks in there. But the place that Griezmann plays for me, and I've got him in my FIFA 17 career mode for those who watch it, he plays behind the striker. He plays behind what would be Zlatan at the moment. I'd have Mkhitaryan on the right. I'd have Martial on the left, like you say. And my midfield 2 would be Pogba. And I think if you're going to have Pogba and Griezmann as your midfield 3, part of your midfield 3, you've got to have a destroyer in there because Carrick's retiring anyway very soon in the next 18 months. So I think if you're going to have Griezmann who's an attacker, you're going to have Pogba who is better attacking. You've got to you need a Kante in there. So I'd agree with you. Griezmann coming into the team, I think probably does see Herrera drop to the bench.
That's it. Cause I think Fosu Mensah's got that energy that you need in midfield. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't see Pogba doing that much running to break up player, but I see Fosu Mensah doing that dirty work, cleaning up breaking up the opposition play, passing it over to the other attackers. I see that in him. I just think he needs a chance.
Yeah, well, we talked about this on the show last night. If people didn't watch the Carrick replacement show last night, go and give it a watch after this one. It's quite a long show, but we sort of talk about all angles, and I ended up with the let's move away from the Carrick style. Let's get somebody in like the sort of Kante, Matuidi, Bakayoko, Kessie. I don't know whether Fosu Mensah's ready yet, but yeah, he will be that sort of player. It's not somebody who dictates the play. It's somebody who gets the ball, is energetic, athletic. They get the ball and they give it to people like Pogba, and who I would have Griezmann ahead of him. And that's where I'd go. And for those people who get concerned about Herrera, I love Ander Herrera, but I've been saying for a few weeks now, I think Herrera in a championship winning side and a Champions League challenging side, is he in the first team 11? I think he's a great member of a squad who will play 30 to 40 games a season because of injuries and coming on, whatever. But is he in your starting 11 if you want to go and win them sort of trophies? Unfortunately, probably not.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. Thing is, I would like to say as well, because we've got some young youths coming through as well. If we have Griezmann there, I think even Angel Gomez can learn off him as well, because I like how he plays. To be honest, he's got that. He looks like he's going to be a good playmaker, and plus when Pereira comes back, I think he can add to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot about Griezmann because, like I said, I've liked him for a long time. I've never seen him as a striker. I know people say he's a striker. I don't really see him as a striker. I definitely see him as a number 10. He moves around the ball. He's very good with his left and right foot, but he's good. He's not bad in the air either. But I do just see him as that some sort of number 10, maybe the sort of number 10 Wayne Rooney was a few years ago. You know, he is quick,
I agree.
He is skillful. He can score goals. He's not a threat for Zlatan. He's not your typical number 9. He's your man in behind. But I think if you're going to carry him in behind, you've got to. It's so important to supplement Pogba. You've got to have that go-getter, that energy. And Fosu Mensah is the perfect one. I just don't know whether he'd be quite ready in the summer. And I think it'd be good for him to have somebody come in, as I was saying last night, whether it's a Matuidi or a Bakayoko, who we can learn from really, and sort of share the role. Because actually, we probably need two. You can't have one anyway. I don't know why I've not said this. You can't just have Matuidi or Bakayoko. You've got to have two, because you can't expect someone like that to run around doing that job for 60 odd games a season. You actually do need to.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that point.
Okay, well, Ricky, is that your first time on the show?
Yes, it is. It is. I've been watching for a long time though.
Very good call.
Good
Very good call. Thanks for calling, and please do call in again.
Will do. All right, Mark.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Bye.
We've been blessed tonight. We've been blessed, and I don't know whether it's because everyone's feeling a bit passionate about the Memphis thing. It can stir up, and you know, I feel passionate about it. It gets you thinking. So, absolutely fantastic show tonight. Very, very good, and I'm glad. I'm always disappointed when there's no midweek Manchester United game, so we can't do a watch along. But it gives us the opportunity to do an extra Scribe Corbridge and get you lot involved. And to be honest, this is where the channel is going for me now. It's great doing the watch-alongs. It's great always having the live comments. And I applaud everyone who's been on the live comments, because we can't do it without you. And I do read it. And I do nick some of your ideas, as I'm sure those people who type it know as well. But Mad Marcus is moaning that no one's had a rant. Oh well. But no, I absolutely love this show. I'm glad we've done 2 this week. Please, what I would say is, the guests tonight were fantastic from start to finish, so please drop a like on it. It's the most important video to drop a like of the video on, because it's not about Mark Goldbridge, it's not about the United Stand, it's about the people who come on and talk, and many of them have not done that before, and I thought they were all fantastic. So please drop a like, especially if you like the pardon the pun, the format, but also these fans are like you, and it can be you. And you know, as Sanders said before on Sunday, he started off on this show. We do take a note of names. Not giving too much away, but I have taken a couple of names tonight, and we have got another new show coming up, which will be another new show for you lot to get involved in, because this is the way we always wanted the channel to go, and we had to get to a certain level to be able to have the sort of audience to start bringing in the callers and that, and it's working. And we've got another new show planned for you in the next couple of weeks. So lots going on with the United Stand. So drop a like. If you are new to the United Stand, please do subscribe, and make sure, somebody messaged me today and said they didn't get a notification when we went live for the morning transfer show. Make sure you've clicked the bell on the subscribe button, and then you'll get a notification when we go live. Obviously I was live earlier with the Memphis news. We will react live even if I'm on the bloody train, on the phone. We will react live to any transfer news. And tomorrow night at 8:30, we've got our Manchester United versus Stoke preview. So a little bit of change of direction. We can talk about a game which is coming up on Saturday. But there's lots going on. And all I would say as a final thing to you lot is please, please, please. There's been a bit of a slump in January, I'll be honest. Please just let people know about the United Stand. If they're a United fan, get them to watch the United Stand, get them to subscribe to the channel, and let us grow. Let's keep growing and let's keep getting this voice bigger and bigger, because I think this show tonight has encapsulated Memphis Depay at Manchester United. I think we've covered absolutely every angle, good and bad, and I don't think you could get a more complete discussion about it. So I applaud you all, whether it's live comments or the guests who came on. Absolutely brilliant. And I shall see you all tomorrow night at 8:30, unless there's some transfer news. And I know what? We've brought £38 million in the last week. I felt we were wasting this transfer window, but it's not all about who comes in. It's about who goes out the door as well. That's 2 spots, 2 big wages gone. Will there be a little dabble incoming in the next couple of weeks? I wouldn't bet against it. Thanks for watching. You're all superb. Really, really enjoyed the show tonight. And keep watching, keep being part of it, because at the end of the day, we keep saying it, it is your channel. Thanks.